What's happening, guys, and welcome to another video. With only a few months left of the decade, it's time to start looking at who has been the greatest WWE superstars of the past 10 years. So today we are going to be looking at who's had the best run during this period, with the criteria considering all aspects of the game from in-ring work to mic skills, credentials, as well as impacts they have left on the business. So don't forget to stun that subscribe button as we count down the 10 best WWE superstars of the decade. So let's get it started, guys, with number 10, The Miz. The Miz is living proof that hard work pays off and is one of the best success stories in WWE over the past 10 years. Starting out the decade as United States Champion and going on to coach Daniel Bryan on the original season of NXT, with the two having an on and off rivalry ever since. Miz would then win the 2010 Money in the Bank ladder match and cash in the briefcase on Randy Orton to win the WWE Championship. After a 6-month reign with the title, including a successful defence in the main event of WrestleMania 27 against John Cena, Miz would cement his legacy in WWE. Another highlight came later that year when he would team with R-Truth to take on John Cena and The Rock in the main event of Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden. Miz would then win his first Intercontinental title at Raw 1000 and go on to have 8 reigns with the belt in total, giving him the second most runs ever behind Chris Jericho. Miz has proved to be one of the most versatile superstars of all time, with the company being able to slot him in wherever he is needed, from heel to babyface, singles to tag team competitor, and even main eventer to mid-card talent. Number 9, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair has only been on the WWE's main roster for 4 years and is already the most accomplished women's wrestler of all time, winning the Women's Championship a record 9 times and competing in the first ever women's main event in WrestleMania history alongside Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. Flair is also without a doubt one of, if not the best in-ring worker in the entire women's division, with her stealing the show at WrestleMania 32 in a triple threat match against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks that got a 4-star rating from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, which would be the highest rated women's match in WWE history. Flair is still going from strength to strength and is on her way to becoming the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Number 8, Seth Rollins. Debuting on the main roster as 1/3 of the Shield in 2012, Seth Rollins has done it all in WWE. A Grand Slam champion, Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, WrestleMania main eventer, you name it, Seth has accomplished it. But not only has Seth got a long list of credentials to his credit, he's also put on some of the most consistently great work over the past 10 years in WWE. And at only 33 years old, we could easily be looking at Seth on the list of top WWE superstars of the 2020s in 10 years' time. Number 7, Randy Orton. At the beginning of the decade, Orton was already an established star in WWE, having already won 5 world titles in the company at only 29 years of age. However, Randy has had an even more successful 2010s, going on to capture an additional 8 world titles, as well as main eventing WrestleMania 30 and winning the Royal Rumble in 2017. Orton hasn't always been the most exciting competitor in WWE, however he has been one of the most consistent and reliable superstars on the roster and is without a doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer. Number 6, Roman Reigns. Arguably the most polarising superstar here on the list, Roman Reigns entered the WWE's main roster alongside Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose as 1/3 of the Shield. The group would have one of the best runs of any faction in WWE history and then go out on top by splitting at their peak popularity. Roman would then go on to become the face of the company, and in his 7-year run would become a Grand Slam champion, including 4 world title wins, as well as winning the Royal Rumble in 2015 and main eventing 4 WrestleManias in a row. Number 5, AJ Styles. After making a name for himself all over the world for almost 20 years, AJ Styles would finally make his way to the WWE in 2016, debuting in the Royal Rumble match. and ever since then AJ has been given one of the strongest pushes of any superstar in the company's history, and deservingly so. Styles would win his first WWE title less than 8 months after his debut, and since that point has been a perennial top guy. AJ really is one of the greatest all-round performers of all time, let alone this decade, proving himself time and time again, whether it be his classic rivalry with John Cena or spectacular in-ring performances on a nightly basis. The 42-year-old shows no signs of ageing, however Styles recently stated on an interview with Lillian Garcia on her Chasing Glory podcast, "I can tell you that the contract that I signed here in WWE is my last. This is it for me. This is where I'm going to end my career no matter what happens. I got to, I want to be there for my kids." So it sounds like AJ may be looking to transition his way out of the ring sooner rather than later, giving us a little more time to enjoy watching one of the all-time greats. Number 4, Daniel Bryan. Bryan would enter the WWE in 2010 after already establishing himself as one of the best wrestlers in the world. He would start his run in the company by joining the first season of NXT, where he would be coached by The Miz and would be the first person to be eliminated from the show. Bryan would then join the Nexus as they invaded Monday Night Raw, and during this angle he would be fired in real life for going a step too far by choking Justin Roberts, which didn't follow the product's strict PG rules at the time. However, Bryan would subsequently be rehired a few months later and would go on to win his first world title in the company the following year. However, Bryan's real turning point in the company would come at WrestleMania 28, when he was defeated by Sheamus in 18 seconds, with the fans taking the heel Bryan side the following night on Raw, marking the official birth of the Yes Movement. The movement would build for the next 2 years and culminated at WrestleMania 30, where Bryan competed in the opening and closing matches of the night, much like Bret Hart did 20 years prior, and would walk out as the newly crowned WWE Champion. Bryan was then forced into retirement in 2016, however would make his in-ring return 2 years later in 2018, and has been on fire ever since. Daniel Bryan truly has been on a roller coaster ride over the past decade, and will go down as one of the greatest WWE superstars in history. Number 3, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar made his return to the WWE in 2012 and has been without a doubt the most unstoppable force in the company ever since. The highlight of Brock's entire career came at WrestleMania 30 when he would defeat The Undertaker, breaking his iconic undefeated streak of over 20 years. Since then he's went on to capture the Universal Championship a record 3 times, and would even re-enter the world of MMA while still under contract in WWE for a fight against Mark Hunt at UFC 200. And while many fans are not pleased with Brock's part-time status, he is undeniably one of the greatest heels of this generation, if not the greatest, and truly is the best in the world at what he does. Number 2, CM Punk. CM Punk captured the audience's imagination like no other, and to this day fans are still chanting his name in arenas all around the world. Starting out the decade as the leader of the Straight Edge Society, and then going on to create the moment that defined the decade, the Pipe Bomb. Punk would deliver the worked shoot style promo on the June 27th 2011 episode of Monday Night Raw, which would lead on to arguably the best match of the decade between himself and John Cena at Money in the Bank. Punk would then go on to hold the WWE title for 434 days, the longest reign of the modern era, however would have numerous disagreements with the way the company was being run, which ultimately led to him walking out of WWE in 2014. CM Punk then went on to fight twice in the UFC and has created a real lore around himself, leaving fans wanting more. Only time will tell if we ever see Punk back in the ring, however it seems like he may go down as one of the very few wrestlers to walk away from WWE on top and never return. And number 1, John Cena. Without a doubt the number 1 guy of his generation, John Cena has done it all in WWE. Tying Ric Flair's record of 16 world title wins, as well as putting on some of the best WWE matches of the decade with other wrestlers here on the list, AJ Styles and CM Punk. Cena often gets a bad rap, however is significantly better in the ring than he is ever given credit for. He also had one of the most iconic rivalries of the decade, main eventing WrestleMania 2 years in a row alongside The Rock, with the first match having a full 1 year build, something unheard of in today's fast-paced world. Also during this time, Cena would actually outperform The Rock on the mic, proving himself to be one of the all-time great talkers in the business. Cena also had a great run of bringing up younger talent during his United States title run, where he would have a weekly open challenge on Monday Night Raw, putting on classic matches with Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Sami Zayn and Neville. Towards the end of the decade, Cena has begun to wind down his in-ring career, and would pass the torch on to Roman Reigns at No Mercy 2017, with Cena since working a part-time schedule after almost 20 years of hustle, loyalty and respect. So what do you think? Did I miss anyone out on the list, and did you agree on the order? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, as well as following Wrestle with Andy on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.